this is the whole debate, I think, from every FOCAC. I haven't been involved in this field since the beginning, but I imagine it was there. This whole thing of African agency, of Africans asserting themselves more in terms of FOCAC. But again, I'd agree with Ian Taylor that FOCAC is a China show, Let's face it, it's not a swapping of anything. It's resources and investment coming from one place to another, but not the other way around. So China, by rights, almost gets to dictate what the plan is. Now, and of course, African states have been criticized of this, of simply putting out their hand and saying, thank you, we'll take whatever we get, and not saying anything more and not suggesting anything else, because they are afraid to maybe bite the hand that feeds. That's the one problem. And of course, the other problem is lack of capacity within various African countries in terms of making collective bargaining. I mean, you see our regional organizations in Africa, they're not exactly at EU level in terms of their coordination. Then you have the problem of just there's no soft infrastructural capacity on Asia generally in Africa. With the colonial apparatus, you don't produce people who are very knowledgeable. I mean, it's changing slowly, but I think that if you had let's say an African country who had a highly sophisticated understanding of East Asian economies and how they work, and had sent people abroad to study there and vice versa, you would think that they would have a better understanding of how the Chinese work, what they could do, what they couldn't do, all those sorts of things that perhaps in Europe and America and those sorts of places they've developed. So that needs to be developed as well. And then of course the whole massive problem, or in a way the kind of funny part of this, is this designation of the relationship as a continent and a country, and a country with a lot of states, 50 plus states, a lot of which lack state capacity. All of these things contribute to the fact that the African side, I think, struggles to put its demands on the table, formulate its demands in a coherent way, and be good bargainers about it. Because at the end of the day, when you're in a sort of donor-recipient relation, and I know that China doesn't like to frame it that way, it calls it the whatever win-win and this sort of thing. At the end of the day, in that kind of relationship, how much bargaining power do you have? I mean, if it was more of a mutual thing, or if it was, say, a South Africa-China forum or a SADC, so I think that there would perhaps be more scope for this. So I think China also wins just purely in the geographical designation of of FOCAC, of the fact that it's all these fragmented countries.